I was so nervous yesterday that in order to fall asleep, I masturbated 3 times to the same porn film. Do you also have this? Like this one porn film that always, gets you there? Sometimes it's not even a full film. It's just those 20 seconds, There's this thing about porn. A lot of people watch it, but we don't talk openly about it. Now, don't worry. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands and tell me if you watch porn, because that would probably make you feel uncomfortable. And anyway, I already know. Statistically, at least, I can say that at least half of this room has watched porn at least once in the last month. Now, how does that make you feel? Does that make you feel uncomfortable? Does it make you feel weird, amused, indifferent? How does it make you feel that I'm here talking so openly about porn? See, I'm used to talk about porn because I do porn. I've been doing porn for 10 years, for over 10 years, in front and behind the cameras. And I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, she doesn't look like she does porn. But I do porn. And I've learned a lot about sex and about communication. See, I remember the very first time that I was as a performer on a porn set, okay? And I was nervous. And we had the performer's talk, which is a talk that performers have before a scene. And we talk about our boundaries and wishes. So my co-performer comes to me and asks me, what do you like? What don't you like? And I'm like, what do you like? Because I don't know how to answer that question. Because nobody ever before has asked me that question. I mean, has anyone asked you that question? Has anyone gone, what do you want to do tonight? How do you like to be touched? What brings you to orgasm? See, and I know that most people don't think that a porn set is the place where you learn about consent, communication, sex negotiations, but it can be, There's a lot of misconceptions around the porn industry, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it later, but there is one thing that I want to clarify right now so that we're all on the same page and we know what we're talking about, okay? When I'm talking about porn, I'm talking about sexually explicit material for adults that is produced consensually and is distributed consensually. Anything else is not porn. It's a crime, okay? So now that we know what we're talking about, and I'm going to tell you about the porn industry, there's so much fun stuff that I could tell you. But I'm here today to talk about porn consumption, okay? And there's this one thing about porn consumption. I have a theory that the real issue about porn consumption is not about how much porn we watch or what kind of porn we watch or where do we watch what porn. It's about how we as a society think about porn. Like, even if you don't watch porn, how do you feel about the idea of porn? I'm going to give you an example. I was raised a feminist. I still am a feminist, actually, very much so. But when I was younger, I thought that porn was wrong. I thought that it was a tool of the patriarchy to exploit women, that it gave wrong ideas about sexuality, and that it portrayed women in a very bad light. I didn't actually watch porn, but I believed everything that I was told. I believed that porn was made only by men, for men. I believed that it was everything done by this called male gaze, that women were portrayed only as fantasies of men, and they were portrayed in horrible ways. Like, for example, women are portrayed in porn, wanting to have sex. I mean, what a horrible, perverted idea to think that a woman would want sex, right? No, right? No. I mean, that's the thing. If you look at the criticism on porn, you realize that it's very sex negative and very sexist. I mean, why would we think that a woman that wants sex is a male fantasy? I'm a woman. I like sex. I enjoy sex. And for a very long time, I was kind of fascinated by the idea of porn. And I felt horrible about it. Really, I felt like there's something wrong with me. Like, what is it? But then I came to Berlin, you know, the place to be, and I found feminist women that were using porn as part of their feminist practice. You know, they were creating really powerful images, reclaiming their bodies, reclaiming their desires. And I realized, okay, I can do porn and still be a feminist. But back then, I felt like I was doing the good porn. You know, I was doing the feminist, the ethical porn. And I still believed what I was told, that there was this other porn, this so-called mainstream porn that was bad. Then I met the industry. I met the people working in the industry. I worked with them. I actually sat down and watched the porn. Well, listen, it turns out that the porn industry is very similar than any other entertainment industry. You know, I've also worked in other industries, and not in the music industry, but in the film industry. And these industries look very much alike. Now, are there problems of sexual harassment, of misrepresentation in all of these industries? Yes, obviously. We know that by now. And it would be a miracle that the porn industry, out of all the industries, the only one is that where everything is perfect, you know, everyone's fine. No. But the biggest difference between the porn industry and other industries is that the porn industry is discriminated upon, is marginalized, is stigmatized, which makes the life of people working in the porn industry way harder. But actually, if anything, porn has always been way more diverse than anything else. In porn, you actually see different bodies. You see fat bodies, trans bodies, different vulvas, different genitals that you don't see anywhere else. And by now, in 2024, there's a lot of women in very important, powerful positions in the porn industry. I'm just going to give you one example, okay? In the last 20 years of the AVN Awards, this is like the Oscars for the porn industry, okay? There has been over 200 nominations for Best Director going to women. In the Oscars, it's been 8 in its whole history. So when I realized this, when I experienced firsthand the porn industry and realized that I had believed these lies, that I had believed porn is dangerous and the industry is dangerous, and it's like, no, it's not. I felt kind of stupid in a way, but I also felt super liberated. And I'm going to explain you why. See, I grew up in Spain, which is a very Catholic country, okay? When my father was a kid, this is the 60s, he believed that if he masturbated, he would go blind. Now, we think this is funny today because we know, most of us know that masturbation is actually something very healthy. Most people masturbate. A lot of people masturbate to porn, and they also don't go blind. But we still believe there's something dangerous about porn, and I wonder why. When I was pitching this talk to the TED folks, I was telling them how I could talk about a lot of different things. For example, the benefits of porn, on a personal level with a partner. And they were like, yeah, no, that's interesting, but can you please make sure that you're talking about porn addiction? That buzzword. And I'm like, yeah, no, you know what? You're right. You're right. We should be talking about porn addiction. Because porn addiction is a term that has been in the media a lot around. We all are hearing about it, And I want you to know one thing. The international medical community does not acknowledge porn addiction as a diagnosis. The correct term for it is compulsive sexual behavior disorder. Now, maybe you say, who cares? Who cares what the medical correct term is? I think it does matter, and here's why. The people that have been pushing for this narrative around porn addiction are literally the same people that 70 years ago were telling you, if you masturbate, you'll get blind. These are religious organizations that are really well funded. They have a lot of money. And they are pushing this narrative. They're pushing this moral panic so that we're all scared, that we believe, there's something really inherently wrong about porn. We need to, control it, forbid it. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't people that are suffering from their sexual behavior disorder surrounding porn consumption, the same way that there are people suffering from an eating disorder. Should we ban food? Is food the problem? I don't think so. I think we should be teaching people about porn. We need porn literacy. We need people to understand, and this one is very important. We need everyone to understand that porn is first and foremost an entertainment product. It's something that is created to arouse the viewer sexually. It is fantasies, it is parodies, it is, a celebration of sex. It is not sex education material. The same way that the film Too Fast, Too Furious is not a film to teach you how to drive. So if we understand this, if we understand what porn is and what it's there for, we can challenge the way we watch porn. Because how do we usually watch porn? Most people watch porn alone, in their room, maybe the dark room with a phone, and you're like quickly, scanning, like working your way through these pop-ups, wondering if you're gonna get a virus in your computer, just going from one platform to the other, searching for those 20 seconds, And then you're done with it and you're finished and you're like, You don't feel good about it, you feel actually bad about it. But you don't feel bad about it because you were watching porn. You feel bad about it because you were doing so secretly. Maybe you were hiding it from your partner. You're wondering, was that ethical that I saw? Why did it turn me on? Is there something wrong with me? And you don't talk with anyone about it. See, and I think that we can challenge this. We can watch porn differently. I'm going to tell you one last story, okay? And there is a story of the very first time that I went to the Porn Film Festival Berlin. Now, this is a normal film festival, There's like normal people going there. There's students, there's queer people. It's just a normal cinema where you walk in, you get a cinema ticket, you go into the cinema room, you sit down with another 100 people, and you watch the film, and everybody's dressed, and nobody's masturbating. And you're watching this film, and it just happens to be porn. And you're watching it, and you're afterwards commenting it with the audience, with the filmmakers. You're maybe getting into really deep political discussions, and you're sharing this experience. And you don't feel ashamed. And the thing is, when you're not ashamed, when you're not judging yourself, you can look at porn and be, how does this make me feel? How does this sit in my body? Is this making me horny? Is this making me disgusted? Is this maybe making the both things at the same time? But you can also go, you know what, I don't think this is for me. It doesn't make anything. Is there something else? Is there other genres? Where do I find them? Or you can even go, oh, this is so good. I'm going to tell my friend. She's going to love this. Now imagine for a second. Imagine a society where porn is just another film genre. You can watch it in cinemas, on streaming platforms, on national TV, and there's information about the production and about the performers and how they prepare for a scene. I think that this society would make us all feel better. Definitely the people that watch porn nowadays, but also the people that don't watch porn. Because hear me out here. There's this really cool concept, sex positivity, right? We've heard about it. It's become mainstream. Now, sex positivity is not about having a lot of sex. It's about every person deciding for themselves how much sex they want to have. That can be a lot, or it can be nothing at all. And they shouldn't be shamed for it. Now, in order for us to create this sex-positive society, we need a society that teaches us, that educates us, and that makes us be free from coercion, fear, and shame. I think that for us to create this sex-positive society, we need to become more porn-positive. And now, that doesn't mean that people need to watch porn. But I think people should be free from the fear and the shame of the explicit representation of sexuality. See, because when we're talking about porn consumption, the question often goes, what is the negative impact of porn? Like, how bad is it, What's the negative impact on society, on women, on children? But I want to ask you another question. What is the impact of a society that tells us that the representation of sexuality is dangerous? What is the impact of a society that tells us that the joy of watching people having sex is purely a male pleasure? What is the impact of a society that tells us? No. What is the impact of a society that censors naked bodies more than it censors violence? Now, I don't have the answers to those questions. I'm just bringing you questions today. And I want to ask you, all of you, one more thing. How do you want to feel about sex? How do you want to feel about an art product or an entertainment product that showcases people having sex? Because see, porn can be many things. It can be art, it can be entertainment, it can be a place where you explore your sexuality. It can be something that arouses you, that brings you to orgasm, something where you explore your fantasies, where you learn new things that you share with your partner. It can be all of those things. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to watch porn. I'm not here to tell you to watch porn or not watch porn or what kind of porn to watch. I'm here to invite you to reflect on how the way you think about porn has an impact on how you feel about sexuality. And I think that you shouldn't feel bad about it if you watch it or if you don't watch it. So I hope that this inspires you to think about how you feel about porn, or maybe how you could feel about porn and sexuality from a new perspective, one that is free of fear and of shame. Thank you.